Hello listeners, listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satya.
And I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast from the Himalayas.
When it's a Tuesday and it's 7:30, you know it's time for perspectives, conversations, and stories.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Bro, it's the 28th, man.
Oh shit. And a
Happy New Year!
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Last two episodes, the sound was not that great because we went to our guests because they were not ready to come to Satyal's shady house. So far, Sadiksha is the only person who agreed to us. I don't know why she agreed to us.
Yeah, whenever we go to the guest, the variables are out of control. Sometimes the rooms are not very are anti-eco-friendly, if I may put it that way. So, yeah, we're sorry about that. We'll try to be more mindful of our sound in the coming episodes. But what do we have for today?
This is the last episode of 2016. This seems so amazing.
And you said that Animesh would be here as well.
I know, the whole
podcast,
family was supposed to be here. I don't know where the hell is Animesh.
Animesh.
Attention all podcast listeners. Be advised that I have hacked into these guys' recording interface, and I am right here as promised. But my voice is only audible to y'all, and not these two. This is Amex. Always observing. Always supporting.
We have to go on with the show. I'm pretty sure he's doing some editing bullshit.
Yeah, right, bullshit.
Not bullshit, but something really amazing.
I just hope he does not delete this episode, man. Alright, so man, we've come a long way. 9 months and 439 subscribers.
Seriously, guys.
Satya, breathe.
Stop it.
Coming out.
Who's the father, Satya?
Oh, homie robots.
So, 439 subscribers, man. I remember starting out thinking even if 20 people listen to it, and including our parents in that 20 people, right? So, we've come a long way. How's this journey been like for you?
The journey has been absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure. I just want to reiterate one thing. We've always talked about how Animesh is the heart of the podcast, and
Oh, yeah.
when he first sent that logo to us on a Sunday, you know,
You sure it was a Sunday?
I checked my database. It was a Wednesday evening.
no one needs to know
Alright,
that.
Sunday.
on a Sunday.
Damn right. You think you can fool all the people?
12 o'clock.
Yes, it was 12 o'clock.
Huh.
It was.
I know, I remember with that.
So when he sent that logo to us, he put life into the podcast because until then we weren't sure. So we are kind of the heart. We're the.
Yeah, right. Take that away too.
He's not. Don't take that away from me.
Sorry.
What Silva here is trying to say is,
Yeah.
if it weren't for Animesh, we would not have branded ourselves the way we have. So that's why it's because of people like Animesh that make other people feel that we're making money out of the podcast because the logo looks so damn good, right?
Fake it till you make it, boys.
So that's our way of, saying this is a thing that we do. But yeah, without Animesh, we would not have come so far.
We can talk about all the great things about the 9-month journey that we've had, but I just want to pick out on the latest mistake that you just had.
All right, go on.
And just talk about some of the mistakes
Yeah.
because people think we're very professional, and
Trust us, we are not.
the secret is
Ask
out.
our guests how unprofessional we
The
are.
secret is out. We are not as professional.
Okay, so
as
why don't
what-
you tell them what did I do?
So we're recording this on Christmas, right? So 25th. On 24th.
Why did you say it, man? Some people think we are live. We do
yes,
it live.
Another myth busted about Satyal and
Yes,
Silva.
we do not do it live. We are not good enough to do it live. All right, go on.
So Satyal had a surprise for us, which if you want to look at that surprise or listen to that surprise,
Skip to the end of the
skip to the
podcast.
end of the podcast.
We hope you don't.
Why would you? We're so amazing people, man.
Yeah.
And late at night at 12 or 1 in the evening,
Animesh wrote to us and he said, I have a surprise for you guys too. So Silwal is the only one who does not have heart here because the two of us give us surprises, but then I
my
ruined
hearts are somewhere else.
it. Well, I hope she's listening right now. Tell us, how did I ruin that surprise that he had for us?
So today morning he was so excited, like a child in Christmas. Actually, a child in Christmas. He was so eager to share the video that you might have probably seen shared on Facebook and on YouTube about
The season greetings.
season's greetings. And 30 minutes after it's released, Animesh messages us. I'm pretty sure he has his own idea on what he messaged us.
I was like, bro, I thought I was about to surprise you, but you've surprised me. That was not the final edition of the video.
You had one job, Sachil. You had one job.
Apparently, they were supposed to do a caricature of Santa Claus. Silwal was supposed to do a ho
Yes.
ho ha ha ha.
Merry Christmas. Ho ho ho.
And that, kids, was the end of Silwal Uncle's career as a Santa.
And if you've looked into the video, it's not there. So that was the initial draft. I got too carried away and I posted it. I'm really sorry.
Animesh, you always roast me. Now is your chance to roast this guy.
Woohoo!
I'm really sorry for that, guys. Really sorry about that. It's like too excited to greet our listeners on Christmas Day.
So, talking about mistakes that we've had, because because this is a conversation, polity talk with the family right now. Animesh is somewhere. You and I are here, and we have that one listener listening to us. Even though we have more than one listeners, right?
Hopefully. So yeah, let me talk about another mistake that we did. But before that, let me share a picture of what goes on behind the scenes. So we record this podcast, which definitely is not live, and we send a file to Animesh via Google Drive. So
when we first started it out, it was not.
It was not that way.
I had to go to his office, and then we used to have tea. When I was sharing the information or the data through our pen drive. I miss that these days.
Yeah, so it happens on cloud. So through cloud, we send that to Animesh via Google Drive, and he edits the file and he posts it out for us, right? So what happened was, I posted the wrong file on Google Drive one day.
Yes.
Because usually the file that we record, we have a few edits to that because we're not perfect.
So you can actually see a pattern of the mistake that happens in this podcast is not because of Animesh or Silva, but you know who.
Yeah, so what happened was on this one particular day, I uploaded the wrong file. And not the wrong as in wrong file, but the file, there was a better file which was edited, and I posted the initial file.
It's okay, Satya. It's okay. You don't have to go on length to describe about that mistake.
And 20 minutes into it, then we realized, and then we have to delete it, and then we came back to it. So, yeah.
Animesh, roast him. Right now. 3, 2, 1, go!
Roses are red, violets are blue. Silwal thinks I'm roasting Sachil, but I'm coded the other way, so I'm roasting Silwal this time too.
Alright, talk about other times. What other mistakes have we had?
I think if the secret was to be out, the Empowerment Academy episode that we did on National Speaking Championship, we did it way, way early, and we just weren't sure about the content because Umesh Dai and Maske, they're fantastic speakers and presenters, and we were talking all the other things that they were good at, and we were not actually catching the value of what they could bring to the podcast.
Yeah, after we recorded the podcast, we came back home and I was doing the review of the podcast, and then I messaged Silva saying, this is not the best that we could have done.
Again, you can see who's making all the decisions and making mistakes.
And I asked you, mate, and you said, can we do this again? And thankfully they were good friends, so we did not really have a problem doing it again. So for those of you who are still thinking we do it live, we have multiple takes doing the podcast.
You can just find out more from our guests because we try to sign a non-disclosure agreement with them, but it never works out.
Yeah. Alright, so despite all the mistakes and all these things that happen behind the scene, what value is driving us? It's been 9 months.
I think when we first started out, we had a very selfish value in terms of, even if there are no listeners, we're improving on our speaking and our presentation in terms of how we talk. That went out of the window by the 5th episode, where we were given these new ideas in Creativeness Fest, and we talked about rethinking our values, and we talked about how it was for that one listener, for that one particular guy or a girl who's listening to us, and we are that friend to that person. And that has always been driving us. Now, I will say one thing, because Satya wants to mention someone's name, because we made fun of her in one of the episodes, and from that day onward, she stopped commenting and sharing
What's
our
her
posts.
name again?
Pratishtha. I'm so sorry. I'm doing this again. I'm so sorry. But
Pratishtha, yeah, we've missed your comments on our podcast because we know for a fact that you used to listen to us to each and every one of our episodes, but since that particular episode when we made fun of you, or in other words, we spread our love for you, you stopped commenting, so we just hope you did not take that personally.
Please come back, Pratishtha.
Or maybe you're just confused because there were 2 guys on air saying that they love you and you do not know who to choose. You can choose me, it's okay. So Pratishtha, please listen to this. I'm gonna make sure that you listen to this because I'm gonna send you this link on your messenger.
Stalker much. But we have amazing listeners for us, because they've been giving us a lot of feedbacks on our intro, because that's one intro that they've liked a lot, right? So let's just hear a few.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Hello, listeners. you're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal.
Hello, listeners. You're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal and I'm Silwal, and we are a weekly podcast from the Himalayas.
Hello, listeners. You're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal and I'm Silwal, and we're a weekly podcast from the Himalayas.
Hello, listeners. You're listening to 18 Minutes with Satyal and Silwal. I'm Satyal and I'm Silwal, and we're the weekly podcast from the Himalayas. When it's Tuesday and it's 7:30, you know it's time for perspectives, conversations, and stories. So, Satyal, what do we have for today?
Which one was your favorite?
All of them. I honestly love all of them because you've nailed Satyal and Silva.
Thanks for that.
You've
is
not
lovely.
nailed us, but you nailed the intro, alright?
Yeah, if you do want to Neil Silva.
Anyways, he's going to take this bit and go play.
I'm gonna do what?
Alright, so 9 months of having fun, redoing episodes, not making a penny, still going on.
Hey.
And people
all,
ask...
all the Google AdSense that we're making, we've made 10 cents. 10 cents in 9 months.
Give me 5 of my share, man.
You don't get 5, you get 3.
People have been like people have been consistently asking us what next, because they clearly feel that there's something big lined up.
What's
And
next?
that this is not much.
Listen to the end of the podcast. That's next
that's
for you
next.
guys. But in all honesty and in all seriousness, we have no idea on what's next, because we started this out because this was there was this common feeling about sharing our views and bringing perspectives, conversations, and stories. And we don't know. The idea has always been this will lead to something someday in the future, but we're not actually pursuing it. When our values match, it has yielded so many results for us. We've had so many contacts with people asking us about the logo, and Animesh has been that person to go to right now.
Even for the National Speaking Championship, we got approached to MC the show because apparently they liked our dynamics and how we pull each other's legs and make fun of each other.
If the podcast wasn't there, we would not be there. So we've been creating inroads on our paths, but sometimes the beauty of being on this journey is you never know what's in store for us.
Yeah.
So again, we are not the first podcast in Nepal, because that title probably goes to someone else. We were inspired by Bulai and Ganta Boys. Manishta, if you're listening to us, I think Satyal and I had this ego trip where we said we can do better than them.
The thing was, they were a 48-minute podcast and they were talking about their school stories, and we thought, okay, we should definitely not talk about our college stories. Talk about something that other people can connect to as well. So when people ask if we are the first ever podcast in Nepal,
I don't think so. That
we
credit
say
goes to Manishta. I think.
We're not, but we just say that we hope to be the longest running podcast. That is the value that's driving us. Hopefully we don't fight at the end of the recording of this podcast.
I just want to say, if we really have a fight, and this is a possibility because there are 3 testosterone-filled men right now with these macho men, what happens to the microphone?
Why don't we allow the guy who gifted us this mic to decide for itself? Right? Also, why don't you comment and say who gets the mic if we fight? Or maybe you'll just ask it back, man. Can we allow that?
It was for the podcast. If the podcast is not there, the mic goes to his ass.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's there. Anything you want to say to the 439 subscribers? Do you feel that the initial subscribers have stopped listening to us because the views have gone down, but at the same time the subscribers
numbers
have gone up?
Really,
that confuses me. Please
I
teach
think,
me, man.
Yes, I'm the guru. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Guru. Thank you.
I wish I knew, but I can only ask our listeners, the initial listeners who've been following us for some time now, and they're better suited to answer this question. Maybe 39 episodes is too much for people sometimes to follow every day, not every day, but every week. And we might be those Hindi serials where, it's going
There's no sign of stopping.
on and on and on. And maybe we might have to take a season hiatus and just be like, did you miss me?
Okay. Pretty sure we're not going to do that. But yeah, listeners, why don't you write to us, which you never do, but I hope you do this. This could be a New Year gift to us, man. Please do it. Alright, so last episode of 2016. What's been your favorite episode?
I think this is my favorite episode right now, because somewhere along the podcast world, Animesh is doing all his tricks.
Damn right, I
And
am.
this feels like a very, very good end to 2016. 9 months ago, when we first started it out, we weren't sure how it would go, and right now it feels so amazing to have so many subscribers, and yeah, the views 170, 150, 200, it goes,
when somebody asks who listens to your podcast, we don't talk about the views, we talk about the number of subscribers because that is many more, right?
And my favorite episodes have been the What If episode that we did. Probably was the 13th episode. 13 was the unlucky episode because I know the reasons why. There's another, the Dasai episode where we talked about
18 things that happen only in Dasai.
The capitalistic Dasai, and then the 18 things that happen in Dasai. That was really amazing. Satyal, I know it's tension of opposite for you because you've been saying that again and again for the last
I would also add one,
months.
then I'll say minimalism, because I was just thinking that was something that I really believed in, and you kind of took a class with me on that one.
Yes.
So
I was the student.
Yeah. So in other words, by creating this podcast, we created a platform where, like you said, we could share things that really matter to us. So it allowed us that. So
Animesh, what's your favorite episode?
I wonder what your favorite episode is.
Her robot has no name, and probably no particular favorites too.
I think I just want to say, if you weren't the part of the podcast, would you be listening to us?
Yeah, definitely.
I can see through your lies. I can see through your lies.
Is that even a question? Well, very good question. All right, so listeners, if you have ever felt that we lacked content in certain episodes, it's because, trust us when we say this, 18 minutes is a long time when you're listening. But when you're recording it, it's a very short amount of time. It's already 15-40 here right now, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of time what happens is we talk to the guest, and then after the podcast, because we don't want to be those two rude podcasters, we go for coffee with them, and that is when the real stories come out, and we look at each other and be like, shit, this is where we need to improve on.
Yeah, and 2017, I wouldn't call it a resolution, but we are taking it on ourselves to become better storytellers, not just for ourselves, but to bring stories out from people. You talk about, what's next and what have you earned and revenue, and sometimes we cannot measure it with money. It's the chat talks that we have after the podcast with that guest, because again, Dipesta, if you're still listening to us, I'm still waiting for that theater ticket. And there've been so many times when we've just had that conversation with that random stranger who we brought in the podcast, and they're now very good friends for us. Because kudos to to the dynamics that we've had. Suraj Dai actually sent us this link on how Facebook was going live stream, and that would not be possible if we weren't there with him doing the podcast.
This sense of building this community is really good. So we really hope that 2017 will be filled with 52 amazing stories, amazing content, and just addition to this wonderful family that we call 18 Minutes with Satyal and Selva. Alright, Selva, so that was the last episode of 2016.
Woo!
So we come to the surprise that we have for you. So we hope you like it, and we'll be back again next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on YouTube and on SoundCloud. And one last thing.
It's never too late to